Okay, students, so my name is Gaurav Bansal and let us start our next session for the PT 2023 revision. And these questions are going to be relevant even in the coming time as well. So even if you are watching it in future, you shouldn't worry much. It is still very relevant. The first topic in international trade is the theory of trade. And herein we talk about 4 or 5 major theories. The first is absolute advantage. And this was given by Adam Smith. So what is the major argument by this theory? The major argument by this theory is that any two country can trade and gain from it if one of them is better than the other in production of something. So that means you do something at better productivity than me and I do something which is at better productivity than you. Let us say you make cloth better and I make furniture better. So there is a scope where I make furniture, you make cloth, and we exchange the access, and that way both of us can be at advantage. And that is how the modern civilization also work. All of us specialize in our job. We do not do all the tasks. So same is applied to country. Okay, so that is the idea of absolute advantage. Later on, David Ricardo expanded this. Okay, pardon with my language. I can write better, but that is very slow speed, so that's why I had. So he upgraded this theory and he named it comparative advantage. So in this, David Ricardo argued, so it is the same theory, he just extended the scope of it. So he argued that two countries, A and B, can still trade even if A is better at everything. Let us say I make better furniture, I make better clothes, I produce better wheat, and I do other things also better than someone else. Still there is a scope of trade. Let us say when it comes to making furniture, I am 10 times better than other person. But when it comes to making cloth, I am only 2 times better than other person. So I better utilize my time in making furniture or other things which I do much better than the other person, and let that person do which I am not so much efficient at in comparison to that person, although I am better than that. So we choose where we are best, although we are better at everything. So basically here we see, even though we have advantage everywhere, comparatively where we have more advantage, we produce that. So just like that, let us say we compare between Japan and South Korea. Let us say Japan produce everything better than South Korea. Okay, let us say. But still South Korea and Japan has a lot of trade because Japan simultaneously cannot produce each and everything. So it produce where it is much better than South Korea, video games, animation, okay, traditional handicrafts, handmade items, whereas mass produced item, factory produced item, Japan has let it to be developed by South Korea. Okay, because although Japan would do even that better than South Korea, but the gap will not be that high. So that is about absolute advantage and comparative advantage. Similarly, then we have modern trade theory. I do not really expect them to ask a very technical question from modern trade theory. So here we have Heckscher all-in model. Basically which argue that if there is a trade, of course it leads to more output. Adam Smith argued trade leads to increase in output because everybody does where they are better. So efficiency improves and the overall global output increases. So trade is engine of growth. That is what Adam Smith argued. Heckscher all-in argued that yes, Adam Smith, what he is arguing is perfectly correct. That is the foundation. But trade is not only increasing the output, it is also bringing equality. So if there is a free trade, okay, products are freely available. Along with that, we have free factor movement. Factor of production are land, labor, capital, etc. So labor can freely move from one country to another. capital can freely move, entrepreneurs can freely move, land itself may not be able to move, but land ownership definitely can move. Means foreigners can buy land in your country, you can buy land in other countries. So that way there will be more equality. So that is what he argued, that if there is a free trade with free factor mobility, there will be equality. Because then if, for example, in India there is more labor and wage rate are low, salaries are low, then lot of Indian people will shift to those countries where salaries are high, wage rate are high. So that really matters a lot. And hence the things will change. So that is what Haksharollin argued. He also argued one more thing. If factor movement is not free, then what will happen? Then companies will shift their production bases to other countries. Okay. Since factor movement is not so easy, the movement of people is very difficult, then they will shift their production bases to other countries. Even if there is limited factor movement, still there will be equality. It will not be as much equality, or things will not improve as fast as free factor movement, but still they will improve. And this will happen because of outsourcing. So that also they didn't use the word outsourcing. I'm just trying to link the modern developments with the model. So that is how you can interpret the Haksharollin model. So factor price equalization, so, or approach, convergence, there are various terms that are used. And similarly, in context of modern trade theory, after HO model we study there is the Samuelson's Doppler theorem, this theorem basically argue that any country specializes in the production of those products where the raw materials or the factors of production are easily available. For example, let us say there is a country which has very short land, which has very limited land. Then it is not really likely to specialize in agriculture, because agriculture is land intensive. If any country has very low population, then it is not likely to specialize in labor intensive production. It will always try to automate the work so that low workers can still produce much more. So countries which have lower population, or which are facing the problem of lack of population growth, or rather facing population decrease, like Japan, Germany, they are also the leading countries in the world in automation, robotics, etc. So countries which are more labor tend to be labor intensive. Countries which are more capital tend to be capital intensive. And as a result, they specialize in such products which are labor intensive, capital intensive respectively. So that is Samuelson's Doppler theorem. And similarly, there is a exception. Okay, so there is a Leontief paradox. So Leontief, Samuelson's, Doppler, Haksher, all these are name of people who gave these theories. What is the paradox? So for example, Israel is not a country which has surplus land. Israel is rather much short of land. Yet Israel has specialized in agriculture. So that is an exception. USA, which is the most capital rich country in the world, actually import more capital intensive products. Means it is exporting more labor oriented products and it is importing more capital products. That is also contrary to what should happen. So there are many exceptions like that. Then India's trade pattern. Okay, so India consistently has a deficit in the merchandise trade. So merchandise trade balance is always negative in India, and this is for very long time. Okay, whereas services trade, which is a part of invisible, India is continuously having a surplus. The cumulative level of both has now surpassed $700 billion. Okay, service exports are also rising fast, and merchandise trade of India is also doing better. So this is regarding the India's trade pattern. Then there are a number of products that we export, that we import. So you should remember what are the top export products, what are the top import products. So for example, our biggest export is actually oil. Some students may find it a bit funny or a bit strange, But this is true. India is the leading exporter, one of the leading exporter of the refined oil. Not refined oil that we eat, refined oil as in petroleum or diesel. India imports crude, whereas it exports the petroleum, refined petroleum. Because India is one of the foremost refinery in the world. India buy in fact a lot of oil from Saudi Arabia. India buy a lot of oil from Russia nowadays, and it process that oil and sell the refined or processed oil to the other countries. So that is also what India do. So you should be aware of such pattern. What are the top import? What are the top exports? Pharmaceutical is another big export from India. Similarly, the diamond, the jewelries, the polished diamond, the jewelries, the gems, these are also popular export from India. Okay, software already one of the very big export from India. So you should be aware of that. Textile is one of the most traditional export from India, big export. Then we come to the tools of trade policy. In the tools of trade policy, we study how a country can use various custom duties, anti-dumping duties, etc. to its advantage to prevent the distortion of trade, to support the domestic industry. So that is what we study. And in the India's context, we identify that we do have a foreign trade policy, and in that we basically try to encourage the diversification of our export basket so that we are exporting to more and more countries. So that even if some countries are not able to do well, still we are not dependent on them and we are exporting to entire world. So for example, let us say a country export majorly to Europe, and Europe is in recession, so that country will have problem. Whereas a country export to entire world, it will not be affected that badly. It will be affected badly, but not that badly. So we try to diversify our product basket, trade basket, partner basket, everything. So we are trying to increase the variety of products that we export, so that even if one type of product has a lesser demand, still we are not affected very badly. So that is also true. So as an Indian, we must understand that our trade policy is aimed at three major objectives. Expanding the trade basket means diversifying to the new product categories. Then expanding the trade partners basket or trade partners list means trying to export to more and more countries. And thirdly, we are also trying to export more of labor intensive products so that we can create more jobs with exports. So these are some of the major aspects of our trade policy currently. Okay, so tools of trade policy of India, basically these are integrated topic. One of the most important tool that we are using for that purpose is export subsidy. We do not call it export subsidy because that is illegal as per WTO. What we do is essentially tax incentive. What we provide is called duty credit scrip. So we provide duty discounts, means you have to pay lesser GST, you have to pay lesser custom duty, etc. if you export more. Okay, so you get some certificates which save you some taxes. So that is how we encourage exports. Trade agreements, then India has a lot of trade agreements, FTA, CECA, CEPA. You should be aware of which agreement is there with which country and what are the features of which different agreement. So for example, PTA is the most basic agreement where we accept that okay, we will trade some goods, few products at a discounted rate. Then we move to the next category. The next category is FTA, free trade agreement, under which we say, okay, we will trade everything at a discounted rate. We will allow each other's product in each other's territory, except a few products. Okay, so in PTA, we have a positive list. Positive list means list of products that we trade at favorable duty. Under FTA, basically we allow everything and we rather have a negative list, means what is not allowed. That is what we list there. Then we move to newer categories. Okay, India has 4 types of agreements. So next is CECA. Basically it's FTA, free trade agreement, but here services are also included. Then we have CEPA, where we provide additional benefits, additional facilities. For example, people's movement, visas, copyrights, okay, trademarks, patents recognition, then entrepreneurial movements, registration of companies, legal protection, all those things then go further into CEPA. So India at present has CEPA with Japan, Singapore, etc. So these are the highest type of agreement that India has. And if you look at other countries, then there are more types of agreement: common market, custom union, monetary union, okay, fiscal union or economic union, and then we also have a common currency. So likewise, we have different types of agreement. India is only 4 types of agreement. Okay, institution will see through questions. Now let us look at the questions one by one. Question number 1. In terms of Indian economy, the visit by foreign national to witness the Commonwealth Games in India, 19th Commonwealth Games in India, amounted to, the answer is export. Basically, whenever foreign tourists come to a country and they buy something, that is treated as export. Export is basically what you produce but you did not consume. So even if foreign tourists consume it in your territory, still it is export. Okay, because your people did not consume it. So that is how we interpret exports. So in this case, A is the answer. Second, a closed economy. We use this term open economy, closed economy. So how do we define it? Both of these questions are from 2011. The money supply is fully controlled? No. Deficit financing takes place? No. These are common features of closed economy, but that is not how we define the closed economy. Only export take place? No. Neither export nor import take place. This is actually the closed economy, which doesn't want to associate with other countries, simply want to stay aloof. So answer is D. Next, consider the following action which the government can take to reduce the current account deficit. So this is also 2011. So in 2011, lot of questions from international trade actually. Reducing the current account deficit. Okay, we want to reduce the current account deficit. Devaluing the domestic currency. If we devalue the domestic currency, means rupee falls against dollar. And if we devalue, that means our products will become cheaper and foreign products will become more expensive. And that can improve our trade balance. So this definitely can improve. Okay, we are talking about can help, not definitely help. Second is reduction in the export subsidy. If we reduce export subsidy, exports are going to reduce, and that is going to worsen the trade deficit, not improve. Okay, so we want to reduce the deficit, not increase it. Increasing the deficit means worsening of deficit. So second definitely is not correct. Third, adopting suitable policies which attract greater FDI and more funds from FIIs. So this is a bit tricky actually. And in fact, I had a discussion with a student and who raised this point, which is very valid also. If we make such policies that we are able to attract more FDI and more FII, what will happen? We will get more dollars. But here we are talking about current account deficit. We are not talking about capital account deficit. FDI, FII, they are part of the capital account deficit. So this is bit tricky. But since there is no such option, okay, of one only, so answer here is D. Now, actually indirectly if we look at it, then it is possible that this step will also help us in reducing the current account deficit. Because if we are able to attract more FDI, more FII, then generally it should also improve the exports from the country. Okay, because FDI generally comes into export oriented industries also. So, but not a very, very convincing option. Okay, so answer has to be 1 and 3 because we did not had a suitable question, suitable option, and this is actually from UPSC PYQ. But this 3 is actually FII, FDI funds. They are actually in capital account. So if there could have been one only, that could have been the answer. So for third, we have to choose D, 1 and 3. Fourth, which of the following best describe the term import cover, sometimes seen in the news? This is from 2016. So import cover, basically how much imports you can make if you have no earning of foreign exchange from now onwards. Basically how much forex reserves you have, and with that forex reserves how much you can buy for how many months. So it is the number of months of import that could be paid entirely through forex reserves. So this is the answer. D is the option. But a lot of students get it wrong. Import cover, they try to link it with exports, okay, ratio of export import, or they try to link it with GDP. So yes, even though it is easy, students do get it wrong very, very commonly. Next question. Fifth, consider the following which is the incorrect about inverted duty structure. Okay, so what is inverted duty? Basically about custom duty, where we have more duty on the finished raw material and lesser duty on the finished products. So free trade agreement, regional trade agreement may create inverted duty structure. That is actually correct. That we signed an FTA or some trade agreement under which we discounted the custom duty on certain products. Okay, now those products were finished, whereas on the other products we did not reduce duty. So it happened that on the raw material we had higher duty and on the finished products we had lower duty. This is actually inverted structure. So it happens because of trade agreements commonly. Second, it makes the good manufactured by domestic industry uncompetitive against the imported finished good products. So B is also correct. C, it encourages domestic value addition. C is also correct. D, it is created solely because of the basic custom duty. That is incorrect. So we had to identify this. Basic custom duty means the standard custom duty, but on top of standard custom duty we may also have additional custom duty, special custom duty, anti-dumping duty, countervailing duty. So there are various types of custom duty. There is one basic rate. On top of that there can be more. So for example, people can understand, even in this examination when you are appearing, you would understand that the basic pay for the salary is actually much less. Okay, so let us say if the basic pay is about 44,000, let us say, I'm just using an example, then still the actual in hand can be more than 2 lakh or about 1.8 lakh, because on the basic pay you add a lot of other things. So just like that, basic custom duty is the standard base custom rate. On top of that there are a number of other things. On various products we introduce temporary custom duty, whereas base is the permanent rate. So likewise, it is not entirely created because of basic custom duty. It is actually created because of some additional things. And since the other options are clearly correct, so D is the answer. Sixth, which of the following would be considered protectionism in an economy? So making rules and regulation which make it difficult for foreign producer to obtain license. That is correct. So foreign companies cannot sell in your territory. That is protectionism. That is exactly protectionism. Increasing the export price through taxes on exporters. That is incorrect. Here you are not protecting your economy. Here basically you are preventing products from being exported. So that is not called protection, because you are not raising barrier for foreigners. You are raising barrier for your own people. So that we do not consider under protectionism. Implementation of anti-dumping policies. Well, according to WTO, implementation of anti-dumping policies are the right of a country, and the country is well within its rights to do so, and that would not be termed protectionism. So answer is one only, A. Next question. Consider the following statement about bilateral investment treaty. So this was in news, that is why this question has been picked up. Now, it is a free trade agreement between two countries for eliminating the tariff. It is not actually. Okay. Second, the first BIT was signed between Pakistan and Germany. So this is actually a bit counterintuitive, although Pakistan is a beggar country, भिखारी मुल्क है, लेकिन BIT पहला उन्होंने साइन किया. They signed the first BIT with Germany. Quite strange. Today nobody wants Pakistan even on the same dais. So quite strange. Okay. So even somewhere Pakistan is a pioneer. Okay, but they lost their way very soon because they went into extremism and all that. Third, India has BIT with all neighbors except China and Pakistan. This is incorrect. Okay, for example, India does not have a BIT with Myanmar. Okay, so likewise, it is not there with all the neighbors except China and Pakistan. What is BIT? That we will treat in each other's territory, and for that we will create favorable environment. We will create some exceptions. So we sign an agreement. So we will facilitate investments from each other's territory. So in this case, answer is 2 only, B. Quite strange. Okay. So if we are not aware of this fact, even I am not aware of this fact, then I will not pick it up, because nobody can think of that Pakistan would be the first country to sign a BIT. Eighth, which of the following best describes terms of trade sometimes seen in the news? So terms of trade is the ratio of import and export prices. So D is the answer. A lot of students get it wrong. Ratio of export price to import price. Ratio of value of import to the GDP. Okay, A and D is bit tricky to choose from. Okay, but B, C also student get wrong. So be careful about it. Question number 9. Consider the following statement. Most of India's existing free trade agreement are with Asian countries. Is it true? Yes. Most of our free trade agreements are with Asian countries. India's exports to Japan and South Korea increased more than India's import from these countries after signing of FTA. This is wrong. Actually, this has been highlighted by Economic Survey. That is why I have picked up this point. Actually, we have not been able to increase our exports despite signing the advance agreements like CEPA, CECA. So they have not helped India. And this is what survey has been highlighting. So this is incorrect. India's trade surplus has increased greatly with ASEAN after signing FTA. This is also wrong. In fact, we had suffered an increase in trade deficit with ASEAN after signing FTA. So FTA have not been proved very beneficial for us. That is unfortunate. FTA, CECA, CEPA, all these have not been very beneficial. So now India is actually considering that we should negotiate the agreements again. And we made some mistakes, we should take care of them next time. So in this case, answer is 1 only. Next, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. So this is about an institution. So this is an institution, fully owned government company established to promote exports. So that is correct. Okay, that is how we define Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. It promotes the exports by giving loans to the exporters and also provide insurance to them. So one is correct, but second is incorrect actually. It used to occupy 100% market share, but then this insurance was open to other companies also. And now other companies also provide insurance. Also, ECGC provide 85% insurance. Okay, of all the insurance sold for export, ECGC provides 85% of them, bulk of them. So it is still very dominating. Answer would be 1 only. Next, which of the following statement is correct with reference to the Export Preparedness Index? So this is a domestic index provided by the Indian government. And which institution prepares it? The first option is, it is prepared by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This is wrong. This is actually prepared by Niti Aayog with another institution. The index ranks states only on the basis of export performance. This is also wrong. Accidentally have included the hint here. Okay, so the detail is that it is based upon, the index is based upon the policy, the trade policy basically. Business ecosystem, let me clear the ink and then you will see again. So trade policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem and export performance. These are the 4 parameters on the basis of which index is prepared. Okay, and Gujarat is the top state on EPI. So B is incorrect because there are 4 parameters, not just one parameter. And policy has the highest weightage. Okay. D, landlocked states were the best performers in EPI 2020 index. That is actually incorrect because it is coastal state. Logically also, it is coastal state which definitely will do better in exports. Gujarat is also a coastal state, so one of the longest coastline is with Gujarat, so obviously it matters. Answer is C. With reference to the currency swap agreement and its related aspect, which of the following statement is incorrect? Okay. It allows the exchange of principal amount and interest in one currency to another currency and vice versa. That is actually correct. It is a risky agreement as there is no freedom to settle the agreement at any time during contract period. This is wrong. This is not a risky agreement. This actually reduces the risk. That is why we sign the currency swap agreement. So B is actually wrong and this is the answer because we had to find incorrect. The other options are it eliminates the risk of exchange variation between two countries. Yes, that is correct. It actually eliminates or very significantly reduce the risk. It allows foreign companies to invest at a low risk. Obviously, it is all about reducing the risk. So B is obviously wrong. And with that, we have concluded the questions here. So this topic is complete. The next discussion will be on the exchange rate. And that would be next session. I hope this session has been helpful to you. And if you like this session, kindly like the video, drop comments. Your comments are very helpful. Okay, they improve the validity of the video and improve its visibility across YouTube and will help my channel to grow. So kindly drop the comments if it is possible for you. And I hope this will be useful for you and best of luck for your examination. Thank you.